if you are always drawing hair in this way or in this manner as well, I am telling you to stop. First of all, we are going to start off by taking a reference. This reference is going to allow us to better visualize the haircut. For example, right here, we are going to divide it into 3 large parts. This is very important. Actually, we simplify the haircut because when you start drawing directly with all the details, you are not going to make it. What I advise you to do is to divide this into 3 blocks. Then you will now be able to add details on top. For example, adding strands of hair, some texture. And at this particular stage, I advise you to go slowly because this step is going to define or is going to determine the shape, the volume. And as for the details, you have to go very slowly. Take the time to add the different strands of hair, the stray hairs, the shape. Take all of your time. Because the most important part was understanding how a hairstyle is actually structured. After you have understood that, the rest of it is just details. You take your time to properly add all your details, to give it shape and to give a certain texture to your haircut. It is very important. After that, you clean everything up and you will see that it is very, very simple. Besides, this method does not only apply to short hair, it also applies to long hair. For example, we are going to try with the long hair on this reference. We are going to use the same process. We divide it into 3 big blocks and then move to the details, taking our time. It's very important. The exact same method we used before at the very beginning, and now it's the same thing. The only change is the length. So with this method, it allows you to easily draw any type of hair, whether it is long hair or short hair, everything works completely. So try this out and you will let me know. But before that, we are going to move on to practice to see if you have understood it better. To begin with, we are going to start our drawing by focusing on a face view directly from the front. From that starting point, we are going to trace out the outlines of the various different blocks, which in this particular case will consist of 3 distinct blocks. Now that we've finished drawing our different blocks, we'll move on to the details. This is generally the most meticulous part of the process. You really have to take your time to better manage all the details. Generally, this step takes quite a bit of time. It will all depend on the style that you want. If you want, you can also copy what I am doing right now. Like you just take your paper or your graphics tablet and it is all good. You could do the exact same thing that I am in the middle of doing right now, just like that, simply to see if you have understood it a little bit better. It would really help you as it is a way for you to practice, because what is extremely important in drawing is the practice. As long as you do not practice, it is going to be absolutely useless. I can show you the best tutorials, the most beautiful methods, or the most overpowered method that exists. But as long as you don't practice, you're never going to progress. We can show you how to draw hair in a very simple way, but if you don't practice regularly, it won't work. It took me some time to reach this level. Alright, now we are going to move on to the head in profile. Okay, for this, let us try to reproduce the exact same type of hairstyle or hair. It does not really matter at all there. Generally, I prefer to refer back to the front-facing drawing to see, because right here the profile is on the right-hand side. There the face is shown on the right-hand side. I am going to target the strand of hair on the right side in order to try to represent it from the profile view. That is what is extremely important, because in profile, it changes. You do not just take it exactly as it is from the front view and put it in profile. No, you have to differentiate. You just take one single part. It's like you're dividing the front drawing into 2 parts. You take the right side, you turn it into a profile. So you put the 2 strands like we saw there. The first 2 strands, that's what's going to almost hide the face because it's in profile. And then draw the rest. It's very simple. There won't be too many blocks. In profile, you don't need 3 blocks unless your hairstyle allows it. But if it doesn't, like this one, you'll see profile is a bit different from the front. After that, the rest is the same. From 3/4, it's the same. Actually, we will see that very soon in the video. Once you have done this, all that is left to do is just to clean up your line art. And after that, everything fits perfectly. So you clean it up. After that, we can move on to the 3/4 view head. These lines I'm putting down allow me to find my bearings and define the level where the strands, hair, or blocks will be from a 3/4 view, because in 3/4 it's a bit different. When you put it in 3/4, there's an offset. So drawing that offset directly right there is often a little bit complicated. Sometimes we can easily get lost. So because of that, we put a guide. These lines allow me to find my bearings on the face and properly place the different blocks of hair. Once we have finished doing all of that, we are going to go ahead and repeat the exact same process that we did earlier, which consists of sketching out the basic blocks first, and then after that, we will add in the details, and finally, we can clean up the lines. And we are always going to continue using this particular method in this way. And very soon we are going to move on over here to the male version. We did not really find any major difference between two because men's hairstyles are quite different from, well, generally speaking, in manga, they don't really follow that anymore. Men can have women's hair or the other way around, and vice versa. Now, we are going to move on to the hair of men. It is actually very simple. It is the exact same method, and it is something that you must never forget. Your shapes or your hair types, your hairstyles are divided into three parts. Generally speaking, one part is going to be for the right side, the other is going to be for the left side, and the third one is going to be for the bangs. Unless you are unable to draw bangs, in which case you can just use two parts. But if your character does have bangs, you should divide it into three separate parts. After doing that, you just need to add the details. Generally, the details will depend on your hairstyle. There you go. For me here, I chose a very simple style. Just to show you, I didn't want to get into more complicated things. And if your hairstyle happens to be a bit more simple and basic, such as spiky hair, generally speaking, you can just go ahead and use a single block. So you draw the outlines first and then you place your block. It can be one that completely hugs the shape of the head. And above all, we must never forget that the thickness between the head and the layer of your hair should be not too big and not too small. After that, you just add the details of your hair, the style that you have chosen, and that is all there is to it. This method is even simpler. It is the most basic version. From 3/4, it's the same thing. Nothing changes. You do the exact same thing. This particular one right here is for the basic single block method. This is meant for hair that is either spiky, very simple, very low, and above all, very basic. Now that we have completed this brief detour, let us return once again to our fundamental method of utilizing three blocks. So at this point in the process, we are going to do the exact same thing. We are going to draw out three blocks. We have the left block, the right block, and the bangs. After we have finished doing that, we can draw the details, specifically the ones that concern the hair. In this case, we are going to use the hairstyle from the very first drawing that we made. Since we first focused on that aside for the extremely basic shape, now we have come back to the three block shape. So there you have it. It is my most sincere and heartfelt hope that this video has been of some genuine help and real value to you. The single most important and valuable piece of advice that I'm personally able to offer to you is that you absolutely must practice. You must dedicate yourself to drawing, and you must continuously keep on drawing as much as you possibly can. Make it an absolute point and a daily habit to draw for at least 1 full hour during every single day. Consistently doing this is truly and surely going to help you to make significant progress in your artistic skills. Without putting in this hard work and effort, there is simply no way for you to make any real or lasting progress. You can watch 1,000 tutorials, but as long as you don't apply the methods described in those tutorials, you are never going to progress. I hope we understand each other. On that note, I'll see you next time.